Dancing Naked in the Minefield by Kary Mullis. This is probably the most recommended book I refer for my friends, especially my science-loving friends. This is Kary Mullis' autobiography, Dancing Naked in the Minefield. He's the inventor of PCR, and he won the Nobel Prize for this invention. He's probably one of the most brilliant and eccentric scientists in the modern age. I can't tell you how much I love this book and how strange and how weird it actually is. He talks about the O.J. Simpson trial, astrology, his maybe being abducted by aliens, among other things, and also how he invented PCR and how it might have been inspired by him taking LSD. If you want an interesting science-related book, this is the book to read. So during the book, he explains a little bit about how he was supposedly abducted by aliens and talks about a glowing raccoon that he's seen in the woods. I thought this was so strange and so funny that I actually named my company after this, Green Raccoon Scientific. This guy is very, very strangely inspiring. It's one of my biggest regrets that I never got to meet him. I can't talk about this book without talking about how PCR actually works. So I'm going to show you a graphic real quick about his invention and how brilliant it was and how it changed everything. All the science you see on CSI, on all the DNA sequencing, all this forensic stuff, he basically changed molecular biology in every way. We divide molecular biology before the PCR age and after the PCR age. And this is the guy who's primarily responsible for that. And despite his eccentricities and how strange he was, this is a person who actually changed the world. And if you want to get inside his head, he wrote it all down in this book. It's fantastic. So this graphic is from Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. It is a fantastic resource for all things molecular biology. And if you get interested in the details, this is a great place to look at protocols and explanations and professional resources and lots of other stuff. But for the sake of this book, I just wanted to briefly talk about polymerase chain reaction and what it's actually doing. So what it does, it can take a single piece of DNA, and from that single piece of DNA, make millions of copies of DNA. This is how a lot of this stuff in forensics or molecular biology is actually done, is you can take one virus, or you can take just a little bit of sample from a piece of clothing or blood or serum and look for a piece of DNA of interest. A criminal's DNA, or a virus's DNA, or a gene you are interested in, and an organism that you're interested in. You take that DNA, thinking about the target region, and say, okay, I'm going to denature this DNA, which basically means just heat it up to near boiling temperatures. Denature the DNA and expose these two single strands, or the target region. You cool it down to 50, 55, 65 degrees Celsius, and two little tiny pieces of DNA will actually come in and stick precisely to these regions of interest. When you say anneal primers, that means just cool it down enough that your little pieces of DNA that stick to these regions will stick to it. You heat it up to 72 degrees, which is the optimal temperature for Taq polymerase. It's just a DNA polymerase that is very comfortable working at high temperatures and is heat stable. This is the reason it works so well, or the reason it works at all. And it will come in and extend your DNA. Now you have two copies of your target region. Then you can go to the second cycle. You heat it up to 94 degrees again, or near boiling temperatures. Your DNA denatures. Your primers come in and stick again. Then you heat it up to 72 degrees. Taq polymerase comes in, extends again. Now you've got more copies. You go to the third cycle. Denature the DNA. Anneal the primers. Cool it back down to 50, 55 degrees. Primers come in, extend the primers. So you get the idea. You can go through this, and the more cycles you have, the more DNA you're going to have. And as long as you don't run out of nucleotides, the little pieces, little molecules that actually make the DNA, you can go up exponentially. You get fifth cycle, and then here's a graph where you can actually graph how many copies of DNA you actually have. Cycle 9. We're at 15 copies Or 15 cycles, you now have 32,000 target copies. You go through this 30 times, 30 cycles, you have over 1 million copies of DNA. Again, this is just taking one tiny little molecule and making a lot of it. And again, this revolutionized everything. This makes genes of interest, you can amplify them and move them and do genetic engineering with them and any number of things. I mean, this is so useful. It's wild. So, this is a great book. Highly recommend it. Dancing Naked in the Minefield by Kary Mullis. If you like this book review and you want to see more like it, I guess hit like and subscribe to encourage me a little more, and I'll start making more.